Let's go to Lynn Sweet, who is with the Chicago Sun-Times. Lynn, as you had reported earlier, the Secretary of State saying he's not going to sign this order, and the Senate Democrats here in Washington saying they are not for this because they think it would be inappropriate for the governor of Illinois, who has been charged with setting up a pay-to-play scheme, essentially trying to sell this U.S. Senate seat, should not have the ability to name this. Will Roland Burris be the next senator from Illinois?
I would be surprised when all this pans out if he survives the next bit of what's going to happen. I foresee court challenges now on every front. We know from the press conference that it seems that Secretary of State Jesse White will be challenged, and it seems that the governor's crew will seek a court order forcing him to sign a document or requesting that. And I bet that goes to the Illinois Supreme Court. All this could go to the Supreme Court right now, if these are these kinds of questions that have. And I know we have a Senate seat to fill, but it doesn't mean that it gets filled before a certain process takes place. And you have the Senate Democrats who will resist at every front too. And so we have at least those two fronts now where we have court fights possible, court challenges to set up. Plus, you have the internal fight within Illinois to see if there's any other way that they could thwart him.
Michael, why would Governor Blagojevich move forward on this? What's his motivation, do you think?
Well, you have to assume that this is someone who's doing this mainly from his own legal strategy. He's fighting for his life. So this is great for him. It's probably not great for Illinois or anyone else. It's great for Roland Burris. But Blagojevich, by doing this, if there is, and I totally agree with Lynn, there could be a court fight against Jesse White, who is refusing to let this go forward. Could be another court fight against the U.S. Senate in saying that we may not seat him. And also Blagojevich, and we saw this with Bobby Rutch, presumably wants to motivate African Americans to come out for this appointment, pressure the Senate and everyone else to let this go forward. It's 10 shiny objects that Blagojevich is throwing in every direction to take attention away from his problems and make this a fight over something else.
That's a really a great point. And also, one other interesting thing that Governor Blagojevich did in this press conference is he said that he doesn't want to hog the limelight. He claimed.
No. Heaven forbid.
Heaven forbid, right. But he said when the legislature failed to act, the Democrats in the legislature failed to act and put forward legislation to create a special election. He said it was the governor's responsibility. And in some ways, he was actually right about that, right, Lynn?
I think the technical term for this is he stuck it to the Democrats.
Right.
I think, isn't that the professional term?
I think they put a little bit more pungently in Chicago, but for these purposes.
I'm not going to go to that bleeping way here. In all seriousness, and in case people don't know exactly what I'm talking about, right after the criminal charges surfaced against Blagojevich, the Democrats in Illinois said, let's just pass legislation, strip him of his power, have a special election, and do it. Everybody, for the leadership, Durbin, the senator on down, said, yes, let's just let the people decide. Let's have a vote. Then the Democrats got cold feet, thinking we have a seat in hand. Why even take a chance of an election and lose it? Okay, so now Blagojevich, in his kind of delicious, he must be finding some of this delicious if he's going down. He's not going down without a fight here. So he says, oh, well, you see, Mr. and Mrs. Legislator and Ms. Legislator, you must want me to have this power because we discussed it in the legislature, willfully declined to change the system in Illinois. So you think I'm the bad guy? So he is also sending a message back to them that don't get mad at him. They could have changed the system.
And taking advantage of the situation.